Hi guys, you're welcome to the second part of this particular video, which is the background tags coupled with broadcast receiver. Now we'll be looking at more details when we call the utilities and the sync package. We've actually coded the main activity in the first part of this particular video, and I will actually be moving forward to the sync, whereby we talk about the reminder tags, the utilities, the Firebase JobDispatcher, and also the intent service. I'll actually start from the reminder text, and let's have some details right inside here. So follow me along. We're going to have a public static final string called action increment word count, which we're going to assign the string of increment word count. Close that right there. We're going to have another one, so I'll easily just copy this. The next one is going to be for the action dismiss. This will be dismiss notification, which will be equals, we call this dismiss notification. Another one here, this time is going to be a static, either public or private. Now we're going to have charging reminder. So don't forget, the phone will be charging at the count of the receiver. Charging reminder. We're going to have a public static void execute tags context and the string action. Now if the action increment word count equals to action, you're going to call the increment word count back to context else if the action dismiss notification equals action, call the notification utils clear all notifications, passing the context else if action charging reminder equals to the action, call the issue charging reminder passing the context. We're actually going to need the notification utils and the preference utilities. We'll be looking at that after this particular class. So after the context out of the execute tags method, we're going to run the private static void increment water count, about we're passing the context. Here we call the preference utilities on the increment water count. These will actually be coming from the utilities which we haven't created. That's why you have it in red. Now notification utils called the clear all notification. Context. Now the last method inside this class is you charging reminder context. Call the preference utilities, also the increment water count. Charging now this time. Charging reminder count, pass context, call the notification utils, reminder or remind user because charging context. That's fine. Let's quickly look at the reminder utilities, and before we actually move down out of this particular package. Now we have the interval at which to remind the user to drink water, whereby we're going to use the time unit for convenience rather than writing out a bunch of multiplication ourselves and risks making mistakes. Now we just need to, let's have some fields. Private static minor int reminder interval minutes. Now here we can set the reminder interval. Let's just put 5 minutes. Sure, it should be more than 5 minutes, probably 30 minutes or 15 minutes, but just for practice and demo purpose, let's make it shorter. That will get the notification quickly. Now reminder interval seconds. So we cast the integer data type to the time unit. What we call the minutes to seconds. Pass reminder interval minutes. That's cool. Another field, private static final integer sync flex time seconds equals to reminder, interval, sequence. So let's have private, static, final, string, reminder, job, tag, which is hydration, just a string value, reminder tag, get to use it. We have another private, static boolean, called as initialized. Now we're going to have a method called synchronized. That's to sync, public, static, void, college schedule, charging reminder at null, which is final, context, that's fine. So let's know if is initialized, return. Now we call the driver with an object, instantiate the Google Play services or the Google Play driver, pass in a context. Now we call the Firebase JobDispatcher, dispatcher, we instantiate Firebase JobDispatcher, pass in the driver. Now we're going to create the job to periodically create reminders to drink water. So let's have our job dispatch. First job, constraints, reminder job, call the dispatcher to new job builder. We're going to set the service that will be used to write to preference. What we call the water reminder Firebase job service class. Now we need to set to tag, which is the unique tag used to identify the job. Or reminder job tag. We'll need to set constraints. What we call constraints. The device charging. We also need to set the lifetime of this particular broadcast or particular job call. Set lifetime, which is lifetime forever. One more thing, we need to set the trigger. What we call the trigger class on the Firebase execution window. We have reminder interval seconds. We have reminder into interval seconds. How about we're going to concatenate with the sync flex time seconds. Just that. Now we still need to set this time we set replace current to true, and we will build up. That's cool. Let's have the dispatcher to actually schedule the job about past constraints reminder job, and we have to initialize the job to be true to wrap it up. That's fine. That's for the reminder utilities. Let's quickly look at the water reminder Firebase job service. Now get to understand how job service works. We actually extend job service. This is actually going to handle the background thread. We have a private async tags. How about we get to pass our async tags called background tags. Let me import the job service. Firebase JobDispatcher. And if it's not, we get to probably look at it later on. I think it should actually be from the job service from Android. No, it's still from Firebase JobDispatcher. Never mind. That's where it should actually come from. Now we're going to get the entry point to your job. What about we'll be implementing the offload work to another thread of execution? So this is actually called JobDispatcher to tell us we should start our job. So we have to keep in mind that this method is to run the application's main thread. So we need to offload work to a background thread. Now we understand what this particular class is doing. Now we override the public boolean on start job space start job, which takes two parameters, job parameters with an object. So that is one parameter. We just create an object from that. So first of all, call the background tags. We instantiate with the async tags. Since that's going to take. Now we have the doing background method, which actually takes an object as the parameter. Now before we return null, we need to pass in the context. So let me quickly do that. We have the context, an object of context. This goes to the water reminder job service, Firebase job service, this class. Now we call the reminder tags to execute the tags. Whereby we pass the context just like this. We pass the reminder tags action charging reminder before we now return null. Now after this particular doing background, we need to override one other thing, the onPost execute method. So we have protected, not public this time, void onPost execute. Whereby it takes an object, so we're going to call the job finished, and we pass the job parameters false, the boolean false. Now up there, I need to close this. Now I need to set the background tags to execute again, and this time I return true. Cool. So now when the scheduling engine has decided to interrupt the execution of a running job, most likely because the runtime constraints associated with the job are no longer satisfied, we have to call the unstop job. So we need to create one other method to try to stop the job. To override public boolean stop job, which takes a parameter of job parameter class with an object job parameters. Now if background tags is not equals to null, background tags should be cancelled. True. Still return true. That's all that's for the water reminder Firebase job service. Let's look at the intent service. We need to have values for the intent service as well. This is actually a subclass for handling asynchronous task requests in a service on the separate handler thread. That's what this does. It extends the intent service Now we're going to have a constructor, public, water, intent service with no parameter. Now it calls the super water reminder intent service. Now we still need to override one other method, protected void on handle intent. Or we're going to pass in the intent object called a string for action, which equals to the intent object to get action, and also the reminder tags to execute the tags, this class and the action. Cool. So that says it all. We'll be looking at the notification utilities and also the preference utilities in the GV. For time's sake, I'll actually be importing some code right into the notification tools, and I will run down, and also the preference utilities. Yeah, we go with the notification utilities. We have the pending intent ID, which is used to uniquely reference the pending intent. Or about we create fields like the water reminder notification ID, the water reminder pending intent, and the action drink pending intent, and also the action ignore pending intent. The integer values that are passing can be changed if you like. It doesn't really matter that you have to follow this particular one. We have the clear all notification methods that actually get the system service to cancel all notification manager, right there in the notification page. And also we have the remind user because charging. This actually sets up the notification builder. This is how the builder is actually been set up. About we instantiate the notification compat builder. We set the color, to the color primary. We set the small icon that we followed with the icy drink notification is right there in the drawable. We set the larger icon as well. Set content style. Set the style, the kind of style we really want the notification to have, which is the notification compat big star textile, and we have the notification to actually be default. The notification should be at vibration, and we set the content intent and also add the action, which is the drink water action, passing the context as its parameter, which is actually the drink water action over here. That's a context, whereby we actually instantiate the new intent and set the action to actually call on the reminder tags, the action increment water count, counting the amount of times that you've actually drunk water. So that's what that is doing. So this is just the structure of the notification. If you really want to know how to build up your notification, use the notification compat builder to build up your notification, and it's actually going to set it up right there in the notification drop down of your device. We also talk about the preference utilities, where we have the key water count. This actually takes account of the water, how many times you might have drank water, and the key charging reminder count as well. And the default count is actually 0. We set the water, whereby we call the preference editor to actually get the key water count, and also we get the water count as well. We get the set water, and we have the increment water count. These are all methods that synchronize public static void methods, whereby we set the water count based on the context and iterate the water count. And we have the increment charging reminder count. This actually takes cognizance of the charging, whereby we actually iterate the charging reminders as well. We have the get charging reminder count, whereby we set the charging and also we get that. So this is just how the preference activity, the preference utilities class actually look like, and we've actually covered all what we need right in this application. The iteration, actually a click on a big button or a big image will actually trigger right, you need to drink water after 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, and there will be a count on how many times you might have drank this water. Once the notification pops out, a count comes up, it continues like that. So that is just how to create. We actually did a lot. A background thread using the Firebase JobDispatcher to actually handle this. We did use the broadcast receiver. We also use preferences to handle the amount of times you might have clicked on each water, and also get the count. We actually tie them together to make this work. So I'll actually be testing this in an Android emulator, so don't go anywhere. Before we move to the emulator, I need to point out something clearly here. The manifest. The manifest is not just going to be an ordinary one. We need to register the immediate sync or the service declaration used in conjunction with the Firebase JobDispatcher. We need to record those activities used. So the first one is the service with an Android name. Call the sync water reminder intent service. Android exported false. Same thing we're going to do for the Firebase job service. This time, instead of water reminder intent service, is going to be Firebase job service. Don't need to close it this way. You need to pass in the intent fielder. Right inside there, you pass in an action. Android name. So I come.firebase JobDispatcher action execute. Now we need to still close the service. And the application. So this should actually go right inside the application, not outside. Just this way. So you have it set. From there, we need to actually give a permission for vibration. Use this permission. As the name here, we have the Android permission vibrate. Android permission vibrate. So I'll be testing this. Don't go anywhere. Notice the interface. We have the cup of water and also the counter, which is actually counting once you're charging. So let's click clock. Click for a cup of water. So we're going to be patient to wait for the notification. So we're going to get a notification after 5 minutes. The device will vibrate. This is an emulator, but your device will vibrate, and it's going to notify you that you need to take a cup of water. So we'll actually exercise patience to get that notification. Yeah, we get the notification. The device charging. Where's the water? There's never a better time to drink water than when you know your phone is charging trigger. So you actually click, all right, I did it, or you drank it, or no, thanks. Any one of these options is quite good for you. So this is just how to create a notification. And if you notice, a background thread actually make this work within 15 minutes, kept that in tag, and within 5 minutes that you set, and it actually populates the notification to you to actually take an action. So thank you very much for hanging out with me throughout this tutorial, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll be uploading the source code to my GitHub account so you can pick it up from there. Use the course of the application. Thank you one more time. Bye bye for now.